Hi, my name is Miles Coney, and welcome to Quarantine Chronicles, and welcome to another episode. And we have our guest speaker, Bryan Ha.
Hi, it's nice to meet all of you.
So today I'm going to be asking, what has Bryan been doing during the quarantine pandemic experience? I bet you have a story to tell about quarantine, do you?
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple. It's very interesting, especially when, quarantine is such a heightened reality for all of us, for sure. So now I am a working actor. Um, so not only I used to do theater, obviously not now because of the pandemic, but I also am branching out to film, digital, um, and also like voice acting. I also do other various types of performance like streaming, spoken word, dance. Um, but yeah, that's what I do for the most part. I also have a part-time job called Le Bon Garçon, which is a caramel candy shop. So those are what I do for a living in the meantime. Um, in terms of my background, I am Asian American, Chinese Vietnamese American. I've been living in LA for my entire life, and I started theater or started acting in ninth grade because I was really interested in it, and then I basically stayed for the 4 years of drama class in high school. Like I literally just sold my soul to theater ever since. Uh, um, but yeah, um, that's my background in terms of performance and also like I guess where I'm from. Um, Eventually, my pursuit or my interest in theater culminated into other things, right? So I was doing a lot of musicals during high school and college. Um, so that helped me in terms of confidence and techniques in singing. Even I had took some dance classes. I've also took some voice acting classes. So now that I have better equipment and whatnot, I'm more actively pursuing gigs and opportunities in the voice acting department.
How has the COVID pandemic affected you in your day-to-day life?
I think it affected like day to day. I think it's relatively the same. What it affected um, me is I think it affected me the most in terms of my pursuit because um, once you're out of college, right? Once you graduated, the motivation or the goal, while it is, taking a slight break, enjoying your life, celebrating, is purely pursuing your career, right? Going out there, trying to find more jobs, more opportunities. So I think that affected me the most because um, especially since my foundation in acting is theater, so I cannot like actively go out and audition for any theater gigs because more than likely there aren't any theater gigs at all, um, because you're not going to get the audience and you're not going to get consumer confidence. Not just that, you're not allowed to theater is one of the areas where you're not allowed to like basically host, right, and set a performance because it's not considered essential. So I'm not able to audition for any theater gigs because there's not any. So that's a pretty big impact from the pandemic. Um, it it pushed me to have to go further digitally. That's another big impact is that now in terms of auditions, I have to, audition like here in this space. I had to set up a space, have curtains. I had to learn different techniques to audition on a digital platform. Um, I have to be, there's more protocols, I guess, in terms of the professional realm and how it affects my day-to-day life. Um, But in terms of personal, I think it was really tough because being at your home, right, alone for the most part, Granted, I do live with my parents, um, but being alone is can be very can be very mentally demanding, or in a sense of where I'm not used to, not hanging out with friends. I'm not an extrovert, but I would like to, be able to hang out with friends, talk to people. I think that has a huge, lack of physical presence has such a huge impact for a lot of people, including me. So I think in terms of professional and personal or mental health, I think the COVID pandemic has affected me in those realms.
What is something good that has come out of this situation?
So if we're talking on a whole, like I guess on my field, right? I think when it comes to a lot of crises, and especially this pandemic, is that there is a need for more creative input. There's to the point where creativity almost becomes like essentially a survival basis, right? So like people are going to be more and more creative in a time of urgency. I felt like that's a really good advantage because even though I can't pursue anything theatrically or outside, right, even filming, I had to do online auditions. I had to do a lot more voice work. I felt like there's a lot of projects that's being poured out that are able to be done at homes, right? So I'm talking about voiceover gigs, animations, and stuff like that. I'm getting a lot of those more than theater or film because everyone has the need to really, especially artists, like we're starving to do something creatively. Right? We're starving to do something creatively to put our work out there. So that's why there's a huge, I feel like there's a huge influx of a lot of different voice gigs going on, especially with all the time you have. Um, so that's a positive because I'm able to, get gigs, put myself out there. There's also theater is now pushed into this interesting realm of uh, what you call like digital theater, in a sense of where we're using digital things to create a theatrical space. For example, the show that I'm currently a part of, like that is totally one example of digital theater where we're totally turning our space into like a small theatrical space to perform while using Zoom, which is traditionally a work environment, into a transformative, performative space. So I think something good that came out of this situation as a whole is how this pandemic is pushing us artists to be more creative in doing things and is pushing theater into the digital realm because before the pandemic theater was in this very thin limbo of like we're decaying, we're going to be losing theater, so we need a way to heighten or elevate ourselves to be more to catch up to essentially like the film industry and stuff like that because what film industry has over theater is that it's more accessible, it's affordable, and it reaches a widespread audience, and it's digital, it's technology. Theater did not have that at that time, but um, now it's like it was like in this phase of transitioning. Now it's like completely pushed over because there's a necessity, there's a need to do theater in a not a theatrical space but a digital space. So it's a challenge of traditional theaters, right? Challenging the what's the definition of like theater, a traditional theater essentially. So I think those two are very great positive in my that has to do with my professional realm of things.
Wow, you were very detailed. Okay.
Thank you,
All
thank you.
right.
I try to be. I try to be. I sometimes it's hard for me to get my point if I don't explain things very clearly.
What is something bad or something you don't like about this situation?
Um, I guess, well, okay, this is a bit of a double-edged sword. I probably should have said something good, use this as another something good too. But I think what's been going on, right? Like this huge tumultuous event of this political and social change because of the pandemic. is both a good and a bad thing. And also environmental change too. I'm in California, so we are dealing with wildfires, right?
Mm.
I'm not exactly affected yet, but even then, in my area, like the environment or our air is getting, a little more toxic. Like for me right now, it's not bearable, but even then, like looking at for me right now, looking at the tone of like the sky or the colors of the sky, it's very gray. We have some ashes. Like, I think that's something that's very environmentally bad is that we're having a hard time dealing with California wildfires. It's not even getting better when someone decided to set off explosive for gender reveal, right? So that's something really bad. But going back to the social and political climate of things, I think it's great that we're completely pushing for social change, right? We're going further, right? We're completely um, pushing for social change, pushing for social injustice and the inactions being done. My only fear, I think, coming out of this situation is this complete division and what is going to be changed, right? Um, that is my current fear. My fear is like, are we not going to get what is going to benefit all of us, right? Is there not going to be change for these social injustices that's been happening in regards to the police brutality and honestly the governmental like turmoil that's been going on? Are we not able, as a people, are we still going to get screwed over by this system um, in general, especially like marginalized communities? And are we as a people, are we finally not going to um, get rid of Donald Trump? Um, I think like because I think he is definitely the core of the issue. Um, though I don't want to, go further politically, but that is like, I feel like even then, like even when we get let's say Biden did get nominated, right, or did become president, will he fulfill the needs that many of us want? Because once again, it's another lesser to evil situation. I think our current situation in the U.S. is something I don't like. Our social political like yes, we are enacting changes. Yes, we are pushing. We're trying to keep people accountable. These movements, the Black Lives Matter, the Me Too movement, like all these surfacing, especially U.S., is great. But I don't know how much further change are we going to get out of it because of how bad systematically the U.S. is in general.
All right, that sounds good. Going on to the next question. What is the first thing you want to do when this is over?
Oh yeah, what is something I don't want? I'm not gonna do. uh, I mean, I just want to walk out. Like I just want to go on a hike. I think what's missing out of this pandemic is just the feeling, like the lack of concern. Like sure, you have to care or for your safety about something and stuff like that, but I felt like just being able to just walk freely without any concern of like the bad air from either the wildfire or the pandemic, right? Being able to just go on a hike um, and just free yourself from your usual social worries for a few hours. I think I would definitely love to do that. Just revisit and be be more in tune with nature. I think this is something both the pandemic and honestly the wildfire has taught, right? Is um, like just be grateful of nature and just chill, just take a walk from here on there.
What is a thing you have learned about yourself that you are working on changing to be better when this is over?
I think conclusively, it's to be more confident in myself. Um, I I would have to go a lot of details on like personal issue, but I think one thing about the pandemic is is the fact that we're all one of the biggest fear, right, is the fact that we're all dwelling into the unknown. Uh, we don't know. I mean, honestly, we still don't know. Like, we know where it came from, but we don't know like the actual source of COVID. Like, that's how
Mhm.
unknown this. Like, we don't for now. Like, it doesn't matter now. Like, now we don't know um, when is this going to end. If we're ever going to get vaccine, when is the vaccine delivered? Like, is this going to be a huge? Like, when will this all be over? When will COVID be like completely uh, over? Which is highly unlikely. I mean, we already have like anti-vaxxers. Like how worse is it gonna get with the COVID anti-vaxxers, right? But um, we have a lot of the unknown. I think that really heightens my fear on a basis of I don't feel confident of me being able to go through not just COVID but go through life, right? Sure, COVID is a situation that I shouldn't be experiencing, from the moment I graduate. Like, I should be able to graduate, go out and find some theatrical gig, audition, go out, seek opportunities in Hollywood, and stuff like that. But we're currently in this heightened situation, um, and where it's like it's easy to be not be confident, to feel like you're going to fail. If it's easy to think about a lot of bad moments, right? It's easy to feel like you're never going to succeed or you'll never be enough, especially with a lot of the negative energies and negative things going on. But I think one thing that I learned about myself and learned to work on is to just be more confident with who I am and try to understand and just do things that will help you gain your confidence, like talking to people, um, or just listen, or enjoy yourself, or give yourself a break, right? I think these things for me are small things that will help build my confidence, um, to a point where I feel like I know what I'm doing, even if I don't know what it will get me to. So that is one thing I learned, is to throughout this pandemic, is just be more confident in myself. Um, because I always feel like I'm not doing things right, or I'm not doing fine, I'm not all right. But at the end of it, like I'm fine, dude. Just be all right. Just take a breather. You're fine. Take a breather. Like, you're fine. You're good. Like, you're totally fine. But yeah, I think that's what I learned conclusively, because I think it's gonna help me, not just professional, especially professionally. Like, you have to be confident
Oh,
when it
yeah,
comes to acting,
definitely.
right? Like, you have to. You cannot go out there and be like, I cannot. Like your director cannot cast you and be like, hey, I can't play this part. Like,
Yep, yep. You just gotta be
you know,
confident and do
yeah,
it.
you have to be confident when like especially when it comes to audition. Like, yeah. But it helps me a lot professionally, but also on a personal level. um and just because I've been taking note of the fact that I've just been doubting myself all the time. So I think, uh yeah, this is one thing I am learning, and I am working on changing for myself on a daily basis.
All right. That sounds good. So, do you have any last words for the audience?
What I can say is, cool, cool, great. I can say to the audience is, honestly, just keep living, and just try to be good to other people, to people around you. There's a lot of hate. It's a lot of, like, hate, malice. There's a lot of bad in this world. It's so easy to be bad, right? It takes a lot of effort to just be nice and good, but honestly, we all need it. Ultimately, we all need it. We don't need to be self-centered. We need to be giving, and when we give, it it will help not just someone else, but it'll help yourself too. Like, you'll feel good about it, even if it's a lot, right? Giving is a lot of effort, a lot of energy, but you'll feel good in the end. I think just being good to others around you, being respectful, and just live your life now and life that you want to live in. Like, or not to. Does that make sense? Like as in like, don't think about wanting to live the life you want to live,
Mm-hmm.
but live the life because the chances are you're living it right now.
Yes.
So yeah, there you go.
Thank you guys for watching Quarantine Chronicles, and we had our guest speaker, Bryan Ha. Do you have any social media that you want to shout out?
Yeah. So so I am active on, I try to be more active on Twitter, which is it's Caged Birds Lonan. It's Cage with the ED, Birds with an S, and then Lonan Lonan. Um, the the three words they are capitalized. Um, I I can send in the link to you, Miles, to my
Okay.
Twitter. My YouTube is a stray persona, which is like a space stray space persona. I'll send the link to you as well. Same with my. I also stream now on Twitch, where I basically every day I will, or not every day, but 3 times a week I will be streaming, where I will do the things that I keep saying to myself that I can't do,
Mm-hmm.
and I will do them to the point of where I'm very proficient at it. So I'm currently starting with Spanish. So I'm learning Spanish on a daily basis and hoping that I'll be fluent as Spanish. But if you ever want to check it out, it's twitch.tv/a stray persona. There's no weird letters and stuff like that. Um, and I stream 2 hours Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, though they can change over time.
All right.